The city is in chaos. News is spreading like wildfire. A scammer's true identity has finally been leaked. And this isn't some petty pickpocket we're talking about. Almost 30% of the entire population has already fallen for his tricks. The damage? Around 100 billion. Yeah, 100 billion. That's not, oops, I lost my wallet money. That's, oops, the country's economy just sneezed money. The man behind it all? Han Junwoo. And right now, as he walks the streets, he can literally hear his face being described on the news. Everyone's hunting him. Police are closing in. But before we dive into the chase, the story takes us 30 years back. We're in a daycare. Not just any daycare, but the kind of place where rich kids play with toys that probably cost more than your rent. A man sneaks in, looking totally out of place. His target? A ring. He accidentally bumps into a lady, brushes against her glass of wine, and in one slick move, snatches the ring right off her hand. Smooth, right? He apologizes, she says she's fine, and he walks away, grinning. But karma doesn't wait long. The ring slips out of his hand mid-escape and lands near a little boy, 5-year-old Junwoo. The man rushes over, asking if the kid saw anything. And Junwoo, he bursts into tears, swearing he has no idea. Now the man's sweating bullets. Crying kid? Staff nearby? Suspicious stares? His perfect crime just turned into a public meltdown. And it gets worse. Staff notice the boy isn't enrolled there at all. Who is he? Where's his family? And before the thief can say, not my problem, little Junwoo runs up, grabs his hand, and calls him, Dad, bro went in for a robbery and came out with child support. At first, the man, Il-nam, is horrified. But when he drags the kid outside, Junwoo reveals something shocking. The boy pulls the stolen ring right out of his pocket. He had the whole time. Remember those tears? Fake. That scared little voice? Fake. This 5-year-old just played a con better than the grown thief himself. Il-nam is stunned. I mean, imagine realizing a kindergartner just scammed you. But instead of ditching him, Il-nam feels something strange. Respect. He holds out his hand, and little Junwoo takes it. That moment changes everything. From then on, Junwoo isn't alone anymore. He doesn't just gain one father, he gains 4. For men, all con artists who raise him as their own. A family built not on love and honesty, but on scams and lies. But for a boy who had nothing, it's the first family he's ever known. And it doesn't take long before his fathers realize the boy has talent. They show him tricks, give him roles in their cons, and every time, Junwoo nails it. One night, he even copies a scene from a movie, pretends to cry in front of a stranger, begging for help for himself, his mom, and sister. The man watching him can't believe it when the act works. Junwoo gets money. He comes back smiling, asking when he can do it again. Most kids ask for candy. Junwoo asks for his next performance. The boy learns fast. Too fast. Over time, he isn't just following instructions. He's inventing scams of his own. Lies come naturally. No one ever suspects him. And honestly, he starts to love the game. Fast forward, and Junwoo is an adult, a professional scammer. But now the stakes are huge. His fathers are panicking. Their scams have caused so much damage, the police can't be shaken off anymore. They beg him to come up with something clever, to save them. But Junwoo, he's tired, exhausted. Years of lying, hiding, pretending, it's all weighing on him. And then he gets caught. Prison. Cold, dark, empty. He lies on the floor of his cell, consumed by regret. For the first time, he wonders if maybe it really is over. But then something strange happens. He hears voices. He opens his eyes, and suddenly he's not in his cell. He's home. His fathers are there, laughing, calling out to him like nothing's wrong. One hands him a drumstick, telling him to eat up because school is starting soon. Junwoo looks down at himself and realizes he's no longer an adult criminal. The scenes kick off with the fathers cooking up their next big scam at the boys' school. The plan sounds pretty simple. Junwoo enrolls, wins the principal's trust, then lures him into a hotel meeting where fake contracts get signed. After that, the other two swoop in dressed as mysterious criminals, and boom, the principal has to pay hush money to make the whole thing disappear. But while one father is explaining all this, he notices Jung-woo staring off into space like he's watching a completely different show. Furious, he snaps at him, demanding focus. Classic dad energy. Yell first, explain later. Now here's where things get interesting. Jung-woo already recognizes the building they're talking about. And when he overhears the men joking about him being distracted, or maybe just going through puberty, he starts connecting the dots. Later, standing in front of a bathroom mirror, it hits him. This isn't déjà vu. He's actually gone back in time. 35 years lived, and now he's back in his student body. A literal do-over. One of his fathers barges in, tossing him some papers for the next part of the job. Young-woo immediately spots the danger. It's risky, but apparently his family doesn't see it that way. In fact, they remind him that he has no choice. He can't make friends, can't show his face, can't live a normal life. His only value to them, being their money-making machine. But here's the twist. Underneath all that manipulation, one father actually cares. He suggests a different future for Young-woo. Maybe an office job. Maybe even becoming an actor. For the first time, Young-woo lights up. Acting? That's something he's always loved, but never allowed to think about. Later, during a quiet meal, his father notices another change. Young-woo suddenly enjoys anchovies, something he used to hate. But instead of celebrating his son's adult palate, he realizes Young-woo looks troubled. When pressed, Young-woo finally speaks up and drops the bomb. He feels like his life is about to end. And that's where we're left. A boy with two fathers who see him as a pawn, one secret chance at a new future, and a terrifying confession hanging in the air. What happens next? Well, let's just say this second chance story is about to get a lot more complicated. The school retreat kicks off, and the staff are busy herding students like sheep on the first day. Among them, Han Jun-woo answers roll call with a casual, "I'll be right there." On the bus, he checks his phone and sees a message from his father. "Have a good trip." For a second, Jun-woo smiles. A rare warm moment. By the time they arrive, it's nighttime and pouring rain. Inside the lodging, one instructor sneaks off with his little survival kit, a stash of alcohol hidden in a box. Because nothing screams responsible adult like smuggling booze to a school trip. But his secret happy hour gets interrupted when Jun-woo barges in, furious. He claims his room's too noisy and just wants some peace. The instructor, offended, demands his name in class, then grabs him by the collar. Big mistake. Jun-woo slaps his hand away, leaving the man stunned that a student dared to fight back. That's when things escalate. The collar shifts, and the instructor spots a tattoo on Jun-woo's neck. Suddenly, he's questioning if this kid's tied to criminals. Jun-woo stays calm, basically daring him to call his teacher. Panicked, the man runs out instead, faster than anyone expected. Alone, Jun-woo notices the stash of drinks and helps himself. Kid's like, "Thanks for the hospitality." Meanwhile, the staff return to the room, now suspicious of their colleague. They find bottles, cans, and cigarettes scattered everywhere. The man denies it, but nobody's buying his story. And worse, Jun-woo has vanished. Where is he? Out in the rain, standing by the sea, staring at the waves. He reflects on everything. How every little game he's played always ends the same. For years, he's pretended his life was like a movie. But now, the truth hits him. He's just a criminal. Drinking the last drops of liquor, Jun-woo decides this is it. Today it ends. He steps closer to the cliff, closes his eyes, and accepts the rain washing over him. That's when the staff finally find him. They shout for him to come back, to step away from danger. But Jun-woo doesn't move. Instead, he spreads his arms, takes one last step back, and lets himself fall into the abyss. And as he's plunging, he thinks this is the real ending of his story. The movie of his life, unraveling for good. We jump from chaos to calm. On a sunny day in the city, inside a small theater, two men stress over a performance that's supposed to start in 5 hours. Problem? The star actor hasn't even shown up. Refunds, angry ticket buyers, it's a mess. The man in charge, Ju Mansik, isn't just some theater manager. He used to be a member of the National Assembly. Yeah, politics. But after years of betrayal, scandals, and getting burned by people he trusted, he left that world behind. Now, he runs this modest little theater. At first, it worked. He scouted unknown actors, trained them up, and gave audiences raw talent instead of big names. But there's a catch. As soon as these actors gain a bit of fame, they ditched him for bigger companies. Imagine training Pokemon for months, and the second they evolve, they run off to another trainer. Frustrated, Mansik wanders the halls, only to hear voices from behind a door. He opens it and finds a familiar face, a teenage boy sitting alone in the theater. Jun-woo. He's been here before, always dressed oddly, always dropping cash after watching films. Pretty much the theater's most loyal mystery customer. Mansik tries asking his name, but the boy brushes it off, says he's 17, not in school, and apologizes for sneaking in to watch. He even offers money again, but Mansik notices something more concerning, an injured wrist. When he questions it, Junwoo shrugs it off, clearly used to hiding pain. Instead of pushing him away, Mansik does something different. He awkwardly offers him a chance to stay, look at scripts, maybe even heal up before leaving. Surprised, Junwoo accepts, and the two end up at a diner. Over food, Mansik admits he doesn't get why a kid like this wastes himself on dangerous work. He sees potential, good looks, presence, something more. Then he shows Junwoo a brand new script. Curious, Junwoo flips through a few pages and quietly reads lines to himself. Mansik, impatient, snatches it back. He doesn't want spoilers for his own play. But here's the shock. In just 1 minute, Junwoo memorized the lines perfectly. He starts describing the opening scene in detail, word for word, and even gives his opinion that the script doesn't quite suit this theater. Mansik is floored. He was expecting a blank stare, maybe a polite "it's good." Instead, this boy not only memorized the script instantly, he saw something Mansik himself hadn't. The diner goes quiet. Mansik leans forward and asks the obvious question. Then, how should the play happen? Junwoo doesn't just read the script. He redesigns it. Over dinner, he calmly explains that while the characters' meeting works as written, the stage is too cramped for all that walking and talking. He suggests subtle tweaks, adjusting movement, adding pauses, and saving the punch with a dramatic entrance. Mansik sits there stunned. This boy, barely reacting, just casually rewrote the whole mood of his play like it was nothing. Meanwhile, Junwoo's more focused on his food than the genius moment he just dropped. But Mansik can't let it go. He spreads the script out and begs him to keep going. Junwoo analyzes everything: character positions, lighting tones, even the timing of each line. He talks about the temperature of colors, like it's second nature. And Mansik realizes this isn't random talent. This is stage direction-level insight from a kid who's only been watching plays for 3 weeks. He asks when Junwoo studied directing. The boy simply admits he hasn't. In fact, he only came to theater because there's no movie theater in town. Mansik feels his hands tremble. 3 weeks, and this boy already sees deeper than professionals. Pushing further, Mansik asks him to try acting next. Junwoo refuses. He doesn't know the actors well enough. He explains that real direction isn't just about lines. It's about subtle habits and expressions. To prove his point, he tells Mansik to smile in front of a mirror. Turns out, Mansik's pupils dilate when he smiles. Perfect for playing a creepy killer. Junwoo basically says, "Congrats, you're accidentally terrifying." Mansik is floored, while Junwoo laughs it off as a joke and gets ready to leave. He thanks him for the meal and walks out, leaving Mansik hypnotized by what just happened. But the next morning, Junwoo's back to reality, at his construction job, demanding the wages he's owed. $587, overdue. The bosses laugh in his face, insisting times are tough and he'll never see that money. They assume he'll just swallow it because he's young, broke, and alone. Junwoo stays calm, even friendly, but you can see the storm behind his eyes. He knows they're stealing from everyone, not just him. He's about to let it slide when suddenly, the door bursts open, and standing there is Mansik. Before we get to the construction site blow up, let's rewind. That morning, Mansik is pacing inside his theater, waiting for Junwoo. The boy's late, really late. When he asks around, an employee casually mentions that Junwoo doesn't go to school. He works construction. Mansik's jaw drops. Construction? That's where he's been? So, the man bolts out of the theater, running through the streets, already gasping for air after about 30 seconds. Our guy's chasing dreams, but clearly not cardio. He finds a site, barges into a little office, and explodes on the foreman, demanding to know why they're cutting Junwoo's wages. The workers are stunned, like, "Who even are you?" But Mansik doesn't care. He flips their table over in rage, shouting about shame and exploitation, then drags Jun-woo out by the arm. Back at the theater, he rants about the injustice, saying it's disgraceful and should be reported. Jun-woo just doesn't get why this man is so invested. Mansik insists he's an adult trying to help and that the boy should be grateful. But when Jun-woo questions his motives, Mansik snaps, offended that Jun-woo might think he's trying to use him. He even declares he'll pay him himself, even if it means working construction in his place. It's messy, emotional, but underneath it all, one truth comes out. Mansik refuses to let Jun-woo's talent rot away. Finally, Jun-woo shows a spark of interest, asking if, by working part-time, he'd also get paid for watching plays. Mansik doesn't even have words. This kid just flipped the deal into a dream job. A week later, Jun-woo is officially on staff. His task? Organize the rehearsal room. Simple, right? Except hours go by, and he's still not done. Curious, Mansik goes to check and finds Jun-woo crouched on the floor, surrounded by a hurricane of books. Apparently, the shelf collapsed. But looking closer, Mansik notices something else, scripts scattered across tables, even a flower vase knocked over. It's not just mess, it's obsession. Jun-woo admits he got distracted reading. Then Mansik notices the book in his hands, a Russian play. He asks why not pick one of the Korean ones. Jun-woo casually points at the shelf, because he's already read all of those. Mansik freezes. Every single script? Already? In just a week? And with that, he realizes this boy isn't just talented, he's devouring the entire theater. In the middle of that bookstorm, Mansik notices Jun-woo clutching a Russian script. He raises a brow. Does this kid even know Russian? Jun-woo admits, not really. But then he points to a dictionary on the shelf. Turns out, he's been piecing together the play word by word. Mansik is floored. And then it hits him. He knows this exact scene. The character Vince, spiraling, knocking things over in frustration. He looks around the mess and realizes Jun-woo wasn't just being clumsy. He was recreating the chaos of the scene without even knowing the basics of acting. That's when Mansik asks the big question, what's his dream? Actor? Director? Playwright? But Jun-woo simply says his dream is to live exactly like this. For a moment, Mansik doesn't even know what that means. Jun-woo explains, he's just setting the stage before the scene begins. Acting, directing, it doesn't matter. The stage itself has to be perfect. Curious, Mansik pushes him further. And suddenly, Jun-woo decides to show him. He places a hand on the table, bends his head, and begins to perform. Right away, Mansik is stunned. Jun-woo's face shifts into despair, like someone with nothing left to lose. His eyes redden, his body trembles, and the room itself becomes part of his act. He slams the table, staggers back, nearly trips on a fallen clock. But instead of breaking character, he grabs a chair, trembling, and sinks into it naturally. Every movement, every stumble, every broken object, it's all part of the performance. Nothing wasted, nothing accidental. By the time Jun-woo sits pale and exhausted in the chair, Mansik can barely breathe. This isn't just talent, it's raw, terrifying genius. The boy finishes, calmly stands, and looks back at him like nothing happened. Mansik, however, is already convinced. He tells Jun-woo there's only one thing left to do. Go up on stage. Right now. Flashback time. It's been 2 years since Jun-woo walked away from his parents. Life hasn't been easy. Finding work at his age is tough. But he decides he's done with his old life and settles into construction. Day after day, brick by brick, he builds a routine that feels safe. But deep down, he knows it's not enough. On-site, co-workers tell him, "Kid, you're young. Go have fun." One even suggests checking out a nearby theater. At first, Jun-woo brushes it off. But curiosity wins, and one day he steps inside. At first he's disappointed. It's not a movie, it's a play. But the second the actors hit the stage, everything changes. The energy, the raw emotion, it's overwhelming. For the first time, he feels it. That pull, that hunger, that dream. From then on, every evening after work, he sneaks back into that theater. And eventually, someone notices him. Someone who won't let him slip away quietly. Mansik, back to the present. Jun-woo finishes his private performance for Mansik. The man is stunned. He didn't expect much, especially from a 17-year-old. But what he saw, it shook him. Mansik thought emotions came only with experience. Turns out he was wrong. Still, when he pushes Junwoo to perform on a real stage, the boy refuses. Fame doesn't interest him. He just wants to live quietly, perfectly in his own world. Honestly, imagine having God-tier talent and saying, "Nah, I'm good." Mansik can't believe it. He's begging, nearly angry, saying Junwoo could become someone. But the boy just calmly stacks books back onto the shelf like it's nothing. Finally, Mansik softens. He admits his own path was hard too, and tells Junwoo he'll take responsibility for him, whatever comes next. That shocks the boy. Why would a man he's only known for a month stake his future on him? But Mansik means it, and so, Junwoo agrees. Cut to backstage. The boy stands behind the curtains, peeking nervously at the audience. Some people are asleep, some scrolling their phones, others chatting loudly. Not exactly the dream crowd, but this is it, his first real stage. The curtain begins to rise. Mansik watches from the wings, proud. One staff member asks if this is the boy he's been raving about. Mansik explains, normally, actors get months, sometimes years, to prepare. Even 5 days would be impossible for a newbie. But Junwoo? He only had 12 hours with the script. 12 hours. And yet here he is, standing under the lights, about to prove everyone wrong. The curtain rises. Junwoo steps into the spotlight, seated in a chair, and extends his hand to begin. The theater grows quiet. Then his monologue starts. At first, whispers ripple through the crowd. But it doesn't take long before everyone's locked in, stunned. His voice, his expressions, he's not just reciting lines, he's living them. The scene is about someone left behind, and Junwoo delivers it with raw pain. His voice cracks, tears roll down his face, and when he declares there was no other choice, that he and his beloved lived in different worlds, he slams the chair, drops to his knees, and breaks the audience's hearts on the spot. Even the theater staff watching are floored. One leans over to Mansik like, where did you find this guy? Mansik, meanwhile, is thinking, this kid doesn't just memorize lines. He becomes the character. Every word, every shift in tone feels real. The play moves forward, and another actress enters the stage. Junwoo greets her character with a name, Ellie. She collapses into his arms, and for a moment, the audience is spellbound. But then disaster. She freezes. Her mind goes blank. Mansik panics. For a rookie actor, forgetting lines is normal. But on stage, there's no cut, take two. It's do or die. Junwoo doesn't flinch. He improvises, telling her she doesn't need to say anything. He already knows. Just like that, the scene flows on. He carries her, holds her, and transforms a mistake into a heartbreaking climax. The curtains close. Silence, then thunderous applause. The audience is on their feet. Backstage, Mansik can't believe it. The boy not only memorized a massive script in just 20 hours, he carried the whole performance when things went wrong. And the craziest part? Junwoo had also redesigned the stage. The chair size, the colors, the lighting, everything had been adjusted by his suggestions. Mansik admits it. This boy isn't just talented. He's better than anyone else here. But in the dressing room, Junwoo sits quietly, lost in thought. The applause is still ringing in his ears. And he realizes this wasn't like the past. In his old life, acting was a mask for scams, a way to survive. But this was different. For a brief moment, everyone, himself included, stepped into another world. Now he has to wonder. He's thrown away his past name, his past life, his past self. But can he really live like this in this new life? But the real question is, can Junwoo truly escape his past? Or is it already chasing him? Tell us what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the next part.